Hey guys, today we're going to use a smartphone and make it look like we've got a drone and that we're flying along with a drone. Let's get a new perspective on doing some video work. I got some tips and tricks for you to help up your videography game. Let's get into it. Now let's get right into the equipment that we need to be able to achieve this. First off, you need a smartphone. In my case, I'm using the iPhone 11. Now we need to attach it to a 3-axis gimbal. I'm using the Zhiyun Smooth 4. Works great with the iPhone 11. Now we need to get that up in the air. Anything will work. Tripod, monopod. In my case, I'm using a light stand. This light stand goes 13 feet. You can see the height that this stand gets. So when I hold that up, that gets pretty high, and that'll give me that drone-like look that we're after. Now, for my first move, we're going to do what I call the takeoff. And I basically got the pole extended way out, and I take my cell phone right down to the ground to try and get that grass and pull that straight up to get that takeoff-like effect as the drone just straight lifting up off the ground. Now you can do a lift off and start walking forward, so it's like the drone is coming up and you're pushing forward to get that forward motion. So you can do that and it looks really good. Now for a lot of these moves, and pretty much all of them, what you need to do with your cell phone when you've got it down so you can actually get a hold of it is you need to lock your focus and your exposure on what your target is. Because if I come down to the grass becomes in focus and the light and color and everything will be balanced based off that. So when I rise up into the air, I'm now going to be overexposed to that bright sky. So if I want that distant area in focus and that's my exposure, I need to lock and hold my focus and my exposure on that area. Then I can do the move, because otherwise your light's going to be changing and white balance can change and you don't want that. So that's a big tip for you right there. Lock your focus and your exposure. But for that takeoff move, simply lower your phone all the way down, bring it all the way up, and you get that really cool effect. Here's the footage of the finish of the drone move from the smartphone. And you can see how cool that looks. It looks like it's coming up off the ground and taking off. Fantastic. Now, the next move we're going to do, I call it the push forward with lift. And basically, it's a simple push forward. I've done this in multiple videos before, where you're just simply walking forward with the smartphone to create that kind of forward motion. But we're going to finish it with that drone-like move, because we're always trying to simulate a drone, right? So I'm walking forward with that long pole, trying not to get it to bounce too much, and then doing that lift at the end. And it's that forward with that lift at the end that looks really, really cool. Now, let's look at the finished video of that piece from the smartphone. See, you get that forward motion and then you get that nice rising lift, which kind of gives it that drone-like feel to it. Now, if we reverse that, how about we do a drop-down pull back? Here I'm using some benches, and you can see I'm just dropping the smartphone down and then walking back after I get it down to get that pullback. You can also drop down and walk back at the same time to get that bit more of a drone effect as well. But you can see in the finished footage how that works. It does give you that drone feeling and you're getting that nice smooth pull back on it. So that works out really well. Now the next one I really love, it's called the fly through. And basically you're just going to take the pole, the whole mess, and you're going to stuff it through whatever hole you can find. Here, I was at a kids' playground area, and they had this big round tube for the kids to climb through and everything. So as you can see in the clip here, I just basically took the whole thing and tried to steadily go right through the center of that to create that kind of spanching tunnel coming out to the wide vista at the end, showing our scene. I think that's really cool, and you can do it in reverse if you want. But that's the fly through, and you can see in the finished clip there, that is a really cool effect. I really like that. And it gives that fly-through drone, and I really love that move. I know I said it, but that's one of my favorite moves. Now, another way to introduce your scene and give you that drone look is called the reveal. And basically, again, hugely on this one, you need to lock your focus and your exposure on your subject that you want. Because what you're going to do is you're going to lower your cell phone behind something, so it's blocking the scene, and then you're going to slowly reveal the scene. So if you're like this, your camera is going to try and expose and focus for this. So when you rise up, you're going to get a focus shift and an exposure shift. So lock onto your target at the end and you'll be fine. So you can see here, I'm just basically lowering it down and then raising up slowly from behind, getting, in this case, that pole as high as I can to get that elevated drone-like look. And you can see here in the finished video clip how that effect looks. And it's a great way to introduce your scene, your subject, and give you that base surrounding area to help tell your story. And you're doing it with a drone-like effect. Now, another cool drone move is your panning. So you're basically going to get your stand as high as you possibly can, and you're just going to pan. You can see here I'm down on the beach and I'm just kind of panning around to give that drone-like look. So anybody below, anything below that, you're well above them in height, and you get that drone sense and that feel to it. So you're just simply just a pan left, pan right to get that effect. Now we can also do a little bit of a twist on it. And I was getting dizzy doing this, but here I am just basically spinning around in a 360-degree circle, and I went around a few times, and it makes a really interesting effect. So here it is from the camera's point of view as well. You can see the spinning around is a neat little effect, and it kind of gives you that drone because, again, you've got the height. You're well above what the natural eye and what the normal person sees because you're up high looking down. Works great. Now what we're going to do is take a little stroll along a path. Now, when you have things coming past the camera, it helps give a sense of speed and more motion than if I'm walking on a path with no trees. It becomes a very slow moving pace. But as soon as you're getting in beside some trees, that helps speed it up. So here I'm just simply holding the tripod up, or light stand I should say, holding that light stand way up, and I'm walking down that little path and trying to get as close to those leaves and the trees and that as I can, and hopefully getting above them, so it really gives that drone effect, like it's the drone flying through that height through the trees. And you can see they're walking through. Looks great. The video, as I'm running it back here from the smartphone, it looks awesome. And you get that drone-like effect. It works so good. If you watch this channel, you know I love time-lapse, motion-lapse, hyperlapse, all that stuff. Well, let's do a drone hyperlapse. So I had a lot of fun with this. I basically walked down this park road area, and I just walked along, went down the parking lot, and I finish it with a drone type landing. But without further ado, let's check out this little hyperlapse that I did at the end. And I just love this stuff. Check it out. That was awesome. I love the way that looked. Now, you've got some basic moves there that help tie in all your different drone effects. So let's take a few of these clips, run it together, see if we can't make it a little cinematic, and see what happens with our fake drone. Let me know what you think. Worked out really well. So don't forget, when you're doing this stuff, that you want to lock your exposure and you want to lock your focus so you're not getting any of that shifting. Try, experiment, play with it, come up with some different unique moves, and you can create some really cool effects. Can't afford a drone? You can make your own. It works so well. And I've done this in the past. I actually did it with an Osmo Pocket on a long pole, and it worked great. That's it for this one. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos like this. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. So, until the next time.